Hey everyone, Crow here. I was tempted to make a video on the Calico Chameleon today. Mainly because I wanted to make a video on it updating, because they were supposed to be coming back with the Kickstarter and everything. But then there was the whole prototype development, or excuse me, prototype development that came up, and things just keep getting better and better, and I keep waiting, for more and more stuff. And I think I was like, okay, now's the time I want to make a video on that. I was gonna kind of do my point of view on from my point of view, basically, where I don't go into too much detail, but rather how it was something I was very, very interested in, and to something where I would never, ever, ever buy it. So basically, just take from this right now, don't buy into it. If you're interested in the Calico Chameleon, aka the Retro VGS, forget about it. Most people that are watching this are probably already know what I'm talking about, but I'll probably do another video about that in a day or so. That's not what this video is about. This video is about
questions. I need answers.
So, this is a month's worth of questions, a short month's worth of questions, and I already went into one of the questions already about Street Fighter V. I just wanted to kind of make a separate video on that. So, let's get started. First question here is from Death Adder. Actually, he's got 3 questions. Couple of them, I don't know if I can answer any of these. First question is favorite current celebrity crush. I don't know. Is it Bruce Campbell? Yeah, it's got to be Bruce Campbell. That's what I'm going to go with. Second question. Do you have any tattoos? If not, what would you get? Do not have any tattoos. Kind of thought about getting one, but, tattoos aren't really for me. But if I did get one, I meant to bring something over here ahead of time for this question. I'll be right back. All right. If I was going to get a tattoo, it'd be something from this game. Archon. This, to me, still is the best video game box art ever. Nothing has compared to this. Look at how perfect this is. There's no ESRB rating on the cover ruining it. There's no 10 out of 10 or any other slogans. And, to boot, the rest of the box it's amazing. To this day is amazing. And this is not my original copy. This is one that I had gone out on eBay and searched for and rebought because I love these album style boxes for the Commodore 64. But this was a game I did have as a kid. Now, what would I get as a tattoo? Maybe something like this. Maybe something on the cover if I was looking for something bigger. But if I wanted something smaller, it'd have to go with, like, some of the graphics maybe on the back. Like, probably maybe the dragon graphic. Something that's like kind of 8-bit like, a really tiny one if I was going to get a tiny one. Something that wouldn't cost too much. But if I was going to go full blown, maybe I'd get the entire cover of this, because it is freaking awesome. Seriously, where would I put this now? Who knows? A smaller version on my arm? I don't know. Maybe I'd get this put on my entire back. I don't know. But yeah, definitely. This is the best game box ever. Seriously. Can't overstate it enough. They will never, ever, ever top that. Next question is favorite controller of all time. What a coincidence. I happen to have this right here. PS4 controller. And if you're wondering why I've got a cable attached to it, is because it's hooked up to my computer. Because I found a program called DS4 that tricks the computer into thinking the PS4 controller is an Xbox 360 controller, and you could add macros to it and everything. And to boot, the touchpad doesn't go to waste, because you can use the touchpad like a mouse, like a touchpad on a laptop. So you don't have to, if you don't want to go near your computer, you can actually use that as the mouse too. So it's brilliant. And man, I was so happy. I was ready to go back to an Xbox 360 controller. Even got a wireless adapter for my computer. And, oh man, playing the Pinball Arcade on my PC with that Xbox 360 controller. It was just so hard to go back to after playing with the PS3 controller and the the PS3 controller and the PS4 controller for so long. But, and even other games like Super Meat Boy and everything, I kept trying to play. I was like, I might have to get used to this Xbox 360 controller again. And I was starting to, and then I found that program all of a sudden I was like, hey, wait a minute, is there a way to actually hook up my PS4 controller? And man, everything plays so much better. I don't know why the Xbox 360 controller is the preferred controller of PC gamers. Is it just because it's Microsoft? Is it just because it works, easier to get to work with a PC? But man, I'll take that PS4 controller any day. Yeah, for the most part, the PlayStation controllers have, ever since the PS1, the regular controller, then the DualShock, and then the PS2 controller, the PS3 controller, they just keep getting better and better. Those are my favorite controllers. Moving on. Next question is from Gary Voigt. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the Midwest Gaming Classic, specifically about the crowdedness of it being in a hotel and not in a proper convention hall? You know what? Excuse me. The fact that it wasn't in a proper convention hall never really bothered me. Maybe it's because the even the Pinball Expo in Chicago isn't in a full-fledged convention hall. That's in a hotel too. It seems like every place I go to is in a hotel. Even the anime ASON, the anime convention I went to a couple times, that was in a hotel too for the most part. So that never really bothered me. It never really occurred to me, really. It'd be nice if it was in a proper convention hall. But that one year, it got really, really crowded. I think it was like 3 years ago now. It was so crowded. And if I had gone the next year, it was still that crowded. I don't know if I would have gone. But last 2 years, and I'm presuming this year as well, they've actually spread out things a lot better. They're actually using hotel rooms, and those can get kind of crowded. That's kind of sucks that some of the I don't know if they're vendors, but exhibitors are kind of stuck in hotel rooms and are kind of crowded to get in and out of. That kind of sucks. But the classic computing section, that's in a whole big section. The game room is now in a section where the vendor hall used to be, so there's plenty of room there. There could be more room, I agree. But now that most of the vendors are outside in a tent, got room galore. That really opened up a lot of room. There's a lot, and it's still crowded, but it's not as crowded as it could be. And maybe this year they'll kind of alleviate it a little bit. I kind of agree though that if the convention keeps growing like it seems to be, they're gonna need a new place to go. And I hope it's closer than me, because it's like a 2-hour drive. Honestly, it could be further away, but even if I have to drive another extra hour, I'd still go. It's one of my highlights of the year. So I've got my tickets all ready to go. So that's April something. It's April 9th or something, somewhere around there. Let me just pop open this April 9th. It is April 9th. Well, it's technically the 8th, 9th, and 10th. I'm just going on the 9th. Last year I went for 2 days. This year I'm just going to go for 1 day. Don't need to spend all the extra money on the hotel room and everything. That was kind of fun. It was kind of a nice break. But this year I think I'm just going to do 1 day. So, yeah, there's that. Next question is from Classic Contagious Gaming. Any system/computer that you are actively looking for to add to your collection? Well, I wouldn't say I'm like actively looking. I've got pretty much everything I need. In fact, I had more than I wanted after I thought about it. And that's why I was doing that purge. Now I got rid of, I actually sold, not just got rid of, but I sold the Neo Geo and the Neo Geo CD. So I am looking sort of into getting into the MVS side of that. Now, whether or not I actually want a full arcade cabinet or candy cab or a consoleized MVS or a super gun, that's all up in the air. I'm just gonna have to think about it. I'm kind of leaning towards the Omega, like people have pointed out, but again, do I really want that, or do I want like a full-size arcade cabinet? That'd be pretty sweet too. And honestly, those aren't too much. In fact, you could probably get it with a little bit of time and looking. You could probably get a full-size arcade cabinet. I don't know how many slots, maybe even up to 4 slots, for about the same price as the consoleized MVS. And even the Omega doesn't work, because the Omega is around $500 to begin with. And then if you think about it, you still have to get games on top of that, and you still have to get controllers on top of that. Whereas if you get the arcade cabinet, it's all there. And usually it comes with a game. So, and then if I did that, and then got a multi-cart, I think that would be perfect. But then I'm also kind of looking for, I guess, a Commodore 64C, because that was the computer I used the most. I have a Commodore 64, but Commodore 64C is something I'd like to have, but it's not really necessary, which is why I'm not really actively looking for it. Same thing with an Atari 1200 XL. I know it's not the best Atari computer, and I already have two Atari computers. I have the Atari 400, and I have the Atari XEGS with the keyboard and everything, so it's practically the same thing. But again, the 1200 XL was something that our family had when I was a kid, so I wouldn't mind finding that again. Now, I know people will say, hey, you could get this version of the computer, it's probably the best version, but honestly, I'm going for really thinking just about nostalgia. Next question is from NMFN21. If you could be reincarnated into an insect of your choice, what would it be? I think, I don't have an example to show, but the only thing I can think of is an Insecticon. You know, like from the Transformers, the Decepticon Insect Transformers. Which one? I don't care. Take your pick. It might be a cheap answer, but that's the only one I'm going with, because why would I want to be an insect otherwise? The One Gamer from 2011, his question is, what was/is your favorite electromechanical pinball machine? I always found the Williams machine called Space Odyssey. I always found the Williams machine called Space Odyssey from 1976. Tripping all over my words here. I'm guessing he's saying that the Space Odyssey from 1976 is one of his favorites. Honestly, I don't play too many electromechanical machines. They're pretty cool to play once in a while. But my answer is going to have to go from solely off of Pinball Arcade. I really like Big Shot. I don't think I've ever played that in real life, but it's simple. I really like it. So, yeah, I mean, I've played more than a few electromechanical machines, but none of them really have left a really deep impression on me. But that Big Shot, I go to play that occasionally on Pinball Arcade. So I guess that's what I'm going to go with. Also, you know what? El Dorado isn't too bad. The original El Dorado, not the City of Gold one. But that one's not too bad either. But I'm still going to go with Big Shot. This next one is from Kolchak357. I know you were a big pinball fan. I was curious if you heard about the upcoming Stern Ghostbusters pin. Is this an appealing pin theme for you? I've heard of it. I've heard just like a passing statement. Really haven't heard anything about it otherwise. The theme is one thing, but then the table layout's another. It's got to be not only does the theme have to be good. Well, I guess the theme doesn't even have to be good. Just so long as the game is awesome to play. Because there are a lot of pinball machines out there that are themed based on movies that didn't do so great, but they're just awesome machines otherwise. But the whole theme, I guess, is a big part of it too. I mean, you wouldn't. I don't know if you'd want an Elvis pinball machine if you don't like Elvis's music. Yeah, I mean, I guess that, there's part of that too. I mean, AC/DC, Kiss, and Metallica, they all got pinball machines. I'm guessing you kind of have to like their music in order to like their pinball machines. But Ghostbusters pin, it's going to go one of two ways. And I'm thinking it's going to go the way of, it's going to be based on the new movie that's coming out. And I am totally almost against this new movie thing. They should be, I kind of don't want a reboot of Ghostbusters, to be honest. And to kind of mess around with it the way they're messing around with it. I mean, just gender swapping all the roles. It seems like a gimmick to me. Honestly, I don't think they should make the movie at all. They should have made like a Ghostbusters 3 with a new story. Instead, we're going to get the same story with just a female cast. And that's kind of stupid. I hate it when they do that. I mean, look how they've done this several times, again and again and again, and it winds up being crap. Look at the remake of Total Recall. Why did they even bother with that? So yeah, I'm not too into. If it's based on the old Ghostbusters, yeah, I'd be totally into that. It'd be awesome. But I have a feeling this new machine is going to be based on a new Ghostbusters movie, which I think is coming out this year. So, timing. So that's why I think it's going to be based on the new movie. Let's move on to Ohio. I don't know if I said your name right. It's QQQAAA, and I know I've said it right before, and I just can't think of it now. What is your favorite storyline in a video game? Think about that one for a minute. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say that I don't really play video games for the storyline. And it seems like if I was playing a game for the story, just for the story, it'd be better off being a movie or a mini-series or something. I'm just going to go with... I like RPG-wise, I'd have to go with like Final Fantasy VII. I played through that game like 5 times, and I did like the story in it, but honestly, I was just messing around with the game. I like grinding. You know what? There's not too many people that like grinding, but I do. Just enjoyable thing to do, point and click, or just run around, try and level up. I just like that kind of thing. I know a lot of people don't do that, but or don't like that, and that's why they got rid of random encounters in RPGs these days, and everything's got to be action based. But that's pretty much why I don't play too many RPGs these days, because I prefer turn-based combat. But Final Fantasy VII, if you're going to go with an action game, one of the games I played recently that I kind of enjoyed the storyline of was Deadpool. The Deadpool game was pretty cool. I actually played through that twice, believe it or not. And that was a fun story. But really, it was because I was leveling up. It's like I played through the game once, and he wasn't leveled up enough to get everything leveled up. I was like, I'm going to play through it again and level everything up. And that's the only reason I really played through it again, was, again, to grind, not really for the story. But it was funny, so we'll just move on. Next question is from Lemonkainen. That's Lemonkainen. I should have known that, because the question is, what would you do with a Sampo? Well, you know what's funny is that I know that the big joke in Mystery Science Theater is, what is a Sampo? And I actually had looked that up at one point, and it's actually some kind of mythical device in Russo-Finnish like culture and stories. It's something that can produce salt, gold. It's just something that can provide all the necessities of life. So I guess if I had a sample, I would just open up a salt and gold business or something. I don't know. I can't make too much gold though. You don't want to devalue it. I know it does more stuff than I think. It might actually create water as well. But yeah, actually, let's use the sample for a practical use. Next question is from Brando. What are some of your favorite MST3K skits? Oh man, I forgot about this question. I have to think about this one. Actually, I think some of the Joel era skits are some of my favorites. And the one I say I'm thinking for a while, I kept thinking of Mike skits and Joel skits, and I would say that the one that really sticks out in my mind, there's a whole bunch from season 3 that I think are great, but actually I'll bring up 2 from season 3, and actually these episodes are really close to each other. The first one is from Pod People, where right after that really goofy song, Joel and the bots sing that song, and and they're like singing all like the weird lyrics, and Gypsy's like half a mile off, and at the end he's like, it stinks. So that's probably my favorite one. And then like almost like 2 episodes after that, there was another one. Let me think about this for a second. I had it in my mind. I think it's the Pod People one, where they're like Trumpy in the movie. Trumpy, not Donald Trump, but Trumpy. He makes a lot of things go crazy in the room, and it's got really goofy music. So he did pretty much exactly the same thing in the show too, and during the skit where things are flying around, everything's going crazy. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of invention and exchange that are great. You know, I could probably go through. I have a book, even online. You could go through all the skips, and I can make a list. But those are the 2 that come to mind right off the bat. Now, if you ask me this question tomorrow or yesterday, I'd probably have different answers, but those are the 2 that are coming to my mind right now. I like skits like that. Not to say that Mike's skits aren't that bad. In fact, just to throw in a Mike skit, in the intro, the one where he's, Michael J. Nelson is Lord of the Dance. That one kind of made me laugh, too. I like that one. And actually, I'm looking forward to the new season of skits, seeing what they come up with. But yeah, I love the skits as much as I love them in the theater riffing as much too. You know what? My I was gonna say my sister, but my wife, her friends, you know, we would go over to their house. They're like, "Oh, we love Mystery Science Theater," and then they would skip past the skits. I was like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, the skits are stupid. I'm watching it." No, what are you doing? They do skits. It just blew my mind. I was like, "Screw you! You guys don't like the show." Okay, this next question is from Anon. And I'll be honest, I don't understand this question at all. And the question is, who is your Transformers waifu? And waifu is Waifu. And I looked up waifu. And as far as I could tell, it's part of a meme where waifu is actually wife. So, like the Japanese guy said waifu in the show or something like that. She is my waifu or something. I don't know. It didn't make sense. Somehow it became a meme. I never heard about it until I looked it up because of this question. And the question doesn't make any sense because if the question is who is... Excuse me, I had a cheeseburger for dinner. Who's your Transformers wife? What does that even mean? As far as I could tell, there was only one female Transformer in the whole series. When I say the whole series, I'm talking about G1. Because that's the only series I know of for Transformers. And that was RC. So if I had to pick, it would be RC. Because she's the only female Transformer. Not that Transformers have genitalia to begin with. But if you were to ask me who my favorite Transformer was, this would be it. This is Wheeljack. The reason he's my favorite is really because Wheeljack was the first Transformer I ever had as a kid. And this is the masterpiece Wheeljack, so he looks even better. Look at him. Come on. This webcam. Can he focus? Oh, look at that. It focused on him really nice. For a second. Huh. Anyway. Yeah, Wheeljack. Just because he was my favorite. He's also an Autobot scientist, so there you go. I think that's why my parents bought Wheeljack for me when I was a kid, because on the box they said Autobot scientist, and they're like, well, our boy is going to be a scientist. Let's get him this Transformer. So that explained to me how my second Transformer wound up being Starscream. I don't know. Next question is from Plus. How do you view Microsoft and the Xbox currently? I never really hear anything about it or any major exclusive games. Should Microsoft just stop next gen? Honestly, it's not good for... No matter how much you hate the competition, or you used to say, oh, Nintendo should get out of the game market, or, you know, Sony sucks. Sony should should stop making video games. Microsoft sucks. They should stop making video games. That's never a good thing. Because there's... More competition is a good thing. Because think about it, when you get to E3 or whatnot, you have these companies that are always trying to top the other ones. Could you imagine if there was just one company there? They would just show up, be like, yep, this is what we're giving you. Screw you if you don't like it. But the competition is good, because like this is where we get like moments from, I think it was like 1995 E3, where they come out and say the Saturn is coming out, it's available now, and it's like $500, $400, how much it was. And then the Sony press conference happens, and they're just like, yep, it's going to come out for $299. So just, you get this healthy competition going. And, ultimately the consumers win in the end, because there's more for us to choose from. But how do I specifically... I haven't found a reason to buy an Xbox One, and my views on the consoles right now, I'll probably never buy an Xbox One. And if I didn't already have a PS4, I might not have bought a PS4, although I am kind of looking forward. I'm still buying console games for things I just generally don't want to play on PC. Like, I guess the new Mortal Kombat, I'm getting Mortal Kombat XL. I didn't buy it originally last year because... of all the DLC. Okay, my idea is like, okay, you're releasing all this DLC. Well, the only way I'm going to buy it is if you release all that stuff on a disc. And sure enough, they did. Now, the PC version, people that own the PC version of Mortal Kombat X are getting screwed because they're not getting any additional content anymore. And on top of that, the game doesn't run so great as far as I heard. So, honestly, I think if you're into gaming and you want the best of all worlds, you really need PC, and you need a console. Now which console? I don't know. Maybe the Wii, the Wii U. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be the NX in a couple months. But looks like my NVIDIA GeForce game driver is available. But we'll wait till after I'm done with this to do it. But yeah, nobody should stop next gen. Even if you don't like the competition, just be glad that there's competition. Next question. McKenna. This is from McKenna. How often do you go to the movies? I go to the movies rather infrequent. For example, last movie I saw was Deadpool, and that was on Valentine's Day, actually. No, the day before Valentine's. Was that Friday? No, I think it was that day before Valentine's Day, the 13th. Opening weekend. Saw that movie. Couldn't wait for it. So if it's a movie I absolutely have to see, like Deadpool, I'll see it pretty much right away. Last movie I saw before that was Star Wars Force Awakens. So it was like 2 months ago. So 2 months before that. So we're already in March. So I don't see movies every weekend, but every couple months. I might actually go a few months without seeing a movie. But the craziest time would have probably had to have been for me like last May. I remember last May I saw 5 movies that month, and 2 of them in one day. Now, when I was in the military, I used to see movies like every weekend, sometimes 2 or 3 movies every weekend, just because there was really nothing else to do where I was. But nowadays, I have more things to do, and it's really, you really have to be like, well, I got to invest 2 or 3 hours in a theater. That's 2 or 3 hours that I can't be doing something else. But sometimes it's nice just to get away and to see it. And yeah, it's just being few and far between for me. What's the next movie I'm going to see? I don't know. I kind of want to see Zoolander 2. But that's the kind of thing I could actually wait till that comes out before I see it. But if... Oh, you know what it is? I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be Zootopia. Because a friend of mine really wants to see that. So I think that comes out next weekend. Or this weekend? I don't know. I already said I was going to go see it. So, Zootopia, that's the next movie. If it was just up to me, I'd probably pass on it. But since, my friends are going out and seeing it, I'll see it too. So, who knows? It's just, it could be one of those things where, like, hey, you want to see a movie? Sure. Got nothing else to do, so I'll go see a movie. So, here you go. I need a drink. Next question is from Inkling Boy. So, Splatoon is a smash hit in Japan, a country of gamers that typically hates shooters. What, in your opinion, went right? Honestly, I like Splatoon 2. I haven't played it in the longest time. But, I don't know. It's a fun game. The thing that drove me off first-person shooters to begin with several years ago was, I used to go to LAN parties. If you don't know what a LAN party is, people used to take their computers to a big hall or some rented space or something like that, hook all the computers up, and for 3 days or a long weekend or something like that, just leave their computers there and play games over a LAN the whole time. It could be, I think the biggest LAN party I ever went to had over 100 people there. We took over the entire cafeteria at the college I went to, and we had it like the whole weekend. And you know what's funny is I have some footage of that somewhere. So if anybody's interested in seeing that, let me know. Maybe I'll put up some edited footage of a LAN party with over 100 people in there. So basically what's happened is I enjoy shooters. I love running around. But then, you know what? I wouldn't play the shooter in between LAN parties. And I'd show up to the next LAN party and play Counter-Strike and get my ass handed to me by people who were taking the game way more seriously than I ever expected anybody to. And then just after that, it just kind of snowballed. I'd always get killed, blah, 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 blah. Splatoon is different because it doesn't seem like you have to take the game too seriously. It seems like anybody has a chance. You get killed, you come right back. That's the thing I liked about Quake 3, by the way. You got killed, you came right back. There was usually a time limit on the map. Actually, the way we used to play it. I think you could play it stock, too. But you're always in the action. There's always something to do. It's not like you get killed and you're out of the game for I don't know how long. I'm pretty sure there's first-person shooters that do it this way still. I don't know. I really haven't paid attention to any first-person shooters in probably 10-plus years. Probably even longer than that, now that I think about it. But I was always into different games at LAN parties, like driving games. Like we used to play Carmageddon at the LAN parties, but I'd always jump in Quake 3 or something. But I'd never touch Counter-Strike again, just because there'd be somebody way over there, and I'm like, who is that? Is that guy on my team or not? And bam, I'd be dead. Oh well. But then when we'd screw around in a game, that was fun. Like when we'd change the game so you could only you wouldn't be able to attack with a gun. You could only stab somebody to death. No, that was a fun game. But okay, getting back to Splatoon, it's just something you jump into. It's just the main goal is not really to kill people. It's to ink more of your side of the board. So the goals are a little bit differently. You get bonus points or whatever for killing other people on the other team, but that's not the focus of the game. And to me, it never really even occurred to me that's not a first-person shooter game. In fact, that's not. It's like a third-person shooter game. So when you say a typically hates shooters, I guess it depends on your kind of shooter. It's not a first-person shooter, is it? It's a third-person shooter. And honestly, the Japanese do like shooters. They like shoot 'em ups. That's a different type of shooter, though, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on to in my opinion, we're right. It just doesn't feel like a shooter. It doesn't feel like the typical kind of shooter that most people like here, like Call of Duty or Halo. It's a totally different type of game to me. It doesn't feel like a shooter, like a first-person shooter. Next question is from Ryan. Who would win in a fight, Kylo Ren or Han Solo? Or Han Solo, rather. Honestly, I don't need to answer this question. If you need this question to answer, you just need to see The Force Awakens. Because I am not going to tell you. Next question is from RFG Time. Has the amiibo craze died down? People don't seem to go crazy for them anymore, and scalpers were smacked in the face by Nintendo reprinting old and rare amiibos. I don't think it's died down. I just think that you don't see as many people going crazy for them because they're more readily available. I think a lot of people are, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people. I know people that were saying that, oh, Nintendo didn't supply enough of amiibos on purpose to do this, to have them raise the prices up and create a demand for them. But honestly, it doesn't really make any sense. Why would they purposely bilk themselves out of sales? I mean, sure, amiibos were being sold for $50 on eBay, but Nintendo didn't see that $50. In fact, that's bad for business too, because people see that they can't find what they want, and they're like, well, I can't collect it. That's too much. I'm not going to collect any of them then. So they basically, I think, lost a whole bunch of people collecting them because they didn't get interested in them, because they couldn't go to the store and find them. And when they looked online, there were scalpers. And they were like, oh, I'm not dealing with that, and I'm out. So I think that's just bad. It's not something that anybody would do on purpose. But Nintendo's finally... I just think they released too many amiibos at once. That's what I think. I think they, instead of releasing so many at one time, maybe they should have just released one every month for a while. Because, there's tons of amiibos out there now. And they didn't, it's been only like a year and a half they've been selling them. So they just went crazy. And now that there's finally a lull in some of the newer amiibos, they went back to reprinting the old ones because they want them to be on the shelves where people can just go buy them. Now, any of the future amiibos that come out, I don't think people are going to have a trouble finding them because now they're printing enough for demand. Honestly, I think the U.S. has more of a demand for amiibos than any other region, and it just caught them by off guard. I think that the demand for amiibos is even greater than Japan in America for whatever reason, and that's why amiibos like the Famicom Rob are even coming out here. I think that if the demand wasn't that great, that amiibo wouldn't be available here, but yeah, now they're just making gold versions of all the amiibos too. Like this one. And if I didn't already have all of the amiibos collected, I don't know if I would have bought this. But yeah, so we're on a roll with the amiibos, so Why stop? And you know what? That Mega Man collection is actually really way better than I thought it was. And I'll get into that in my next pickup video, which actually might not be too far away, but I'm still waiting for some stuff. But yeah, Nintendo is just ramping up. And if you go to the store now in the U.S., there's, go to Toys R Us. I don't know so much about GameStop but I know Toys R Us for sure. If you go to Toys R Us, walls of amiibos, like new and old. Like Shovel Knight still on the shelf, Splatoon still on the shelf, even like Little Mac. I know that Best Buy and GameStop. I follow Amiibo news on Twitter, and I was having them alerted every time they came out with something, because if you didn't pre-order these things right away, you were gonna have a tough time getting them. But that's not the case anymore. You probably don't even need to pre-order anyway. You could probably just go to the store. I used to line up at the store before they open if there were no pre-orders and store exclusive ones. But I think the craze has, in a sense, died down. But I think people are still buying as many as they used to. Next question is from Todd. What are some of your favorite smells? Fresh cut grass, gasoline, witches burning alive, etc., etc. Oh man, I forgot about this question. I like the smell of when you open a brand new game. I kind of like the smell of a bowling alley. I do like the smell of gas, actually. I don't really care about the smell of fresh cut grass. By the way, that's the smell of the grass screaming in pain. I am definitely not kidding about that. I like the smell of good food, steak. Tell you one smell I absolutely hate. Coffee. Coffee is the worst smelling thing ever. Okay, I know that wasn't the question, but I always have to get that out of my system because I hate coffee so much. Next question from Day of Daniel. What is the most money you'd spend on a toy/figure? I just discovered Hot Toys, and they look amazing, but the prices are well over $200. Seems kind of high. I don't know what Hot Toys is, and I could have looked it up, but I think I could. 200. I think if I had the money in hand and I didn't have any other plans for it, and I saw something I really liked, I might buy it. I actually do have a couple of toys that are worth $200, or they were between $150 and $200, but I didn't buy them. They were things that people bought for me. I have the Masterpiece Soundwave, Masterpiece Megatron, Masterpiece Optimus Prime with the trailer, Metroplex, and Devastator. All of those were $100 or more when they were purchased, but I didn't buy them. They were all gifts. I would have bought Soundwave, but somebody bought it as a gift. So I personally, this is something I bought, and this was like $65. But this is something I had to have. This was like a replica, not necessarily a replica, but a masterpiece version of the first Transformer I ever had. And I have a couple more of these. I've got Prowl. I've got not Jazz, Blue Streak. I can think of his name for a second. Got Grimlock. Again, the Grimlock was a present, though. I've got Starscream and Sunfire and Acid Storm. Most of those I didn't buy, though. But yeah, it really depends. I'm out of focus, aren't I? Oh, there, I'm in focus now. I guess it really depends on the quality of the toy. When you're actually spending that much money for a toy, it kind of ceases to be a toy, and it's more of a display piece, I think. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People have put up, it's artwork at that point, isn't it? You're not going to play with it. It's just something to put on your shelf to add to the decor of the room. Next question is from DryerLint17. What is your earliest memory of C64, and what games or programs do you have fond memories? Did you use it for schoolwork or use a printer much? Wow. Earliest memories, Commodore 64. You know what's funny is my uncle had the Commodore 64 first. And my earliest memories are of, like games like this. Okay, let me get some of my favorite games I remember. I actually went and got a whole stack of stuff, and there's actually, I didn't realize how much stuff for the Commodore 64 I reacquired that because I used to have it and used to play it. I don't know what my earliest memories are, but let me just run through some of these. But all of these that I picked up, you got music instruction set. I remember this because me and my sister actually used to make music on this, and it was pretty fun. Chuck Yeager's Advanced Flight Combat. My uncle used to have this game, and I used to remember taking the experimental plane at the time, shooting that up into the upper atmosphere and trying to do a nosedive as fast as I could and pull out of it without crashing. Sky Fox, I threw this in here because not so much of the game. This was an awesome game, but just the I remember the package, and it's just an awesome. It's a little comic book in there, or explaining the game. These cases are just great. You know what? This game, I probably played this more than anything else. Racing Destruction set. Building tracks and everything. Fantastic game. I'm not even getting to the second part of the question yet. Marble Madness. This is the version of Marble Madness that I had as a kid, and thus the one I played the most. Mail Order Monsters. Used to actually play this with my friends in grade school. Building your own monster, saving them to an external disk, and that way you could bring my friend had this game too, so we used to take our floppy disk with our monsters on it and fight each other. Build your own monster, earn points. Totally awesome. Indoor sports. This was not an EA game, just a Mindscape game using the same case, but had air hockey, darts, and bowling, and used to play bowling and darts the most on there. So I had ping pong, but just an early game I really like. Demon Stalkers, kind of a Gauntlet knockoff, but a great one nonetheless. One of those games, I think you could even make your own levels in this, even though I didn't really do that. But it says that right here on the back, includes a dungeon construction set. So you could build your own levels. Never really did that, but playing the game as it was good enough for me. And then we got Archon and Archon 2. Just, oh, wow. I could go on forever, and I probably am. Sim City. You know what is great about this is literally the copy of the game I had when I was a kid. I don't know how I managed to remain onto this for so long, even not having a Commodore 64 for so long. But there's even a you can see there's a number 89 on there, because for some reason I would number all the discs. But there are even city discs in here. SimCity 1, SimCity 2, my sister's discs. I guess the manual's missing, but whatever. But yeah, this was the version of SimCity I played a lot as a kid. Test Drive, another great game. I don't have the dual, Test Drive 2, but if I get the chance to get Test Drive 2 on Commodore 64, I will, because I used to play that even more, especially with the expansion discs that they had with it. Batman. I used to... I don't even know why I'm bringing this one up, because to this day I still don't know how to succeed in this game. And I do have a Crow Plays on that where I still don't know what I'm doing. And Championship Wrestling. This is another game I used to play again with my friends. It was like only 4 wrestlers, but I used to love the intros and everything. But yeah, so many memories. And follow-up question: Did I use it for schoolwork or use a printer much? Yes, I actually used to load up Geos. And we did have a printer, and I used to do my homework on the Commodore 64, believe it or not. I was the only one in the class who would not write it out, but print it up. And that I can't remember the name of that paper where you had to tear off the perforated edges. Next question is from Hey Man. Is it just my imagination, or is that wall behind you keep growing with every video? It's referring to the pop vinyls. Yes, it is. It's growing. It keeps growing. I think it's getting a little bit out of control. As you can kind of see, I don't. Probably from the last Q&A video, I actually built a frame around it so I could hold more. I may have to take that top piece off though and kind of rotate it on the back if I want to put another layer on there. I think I can, and if I do that, I could probably put 18 more up there before I totally run out of space. I'm trying to buy less of them. But even 2 days ago, I bought 2 more. How can I not buy Pink Beamo and Blue Zoidberg? How? And you know what? I'm going to have to buy Farnsworth and Nibbler and Zap Brannigan if I see them too. And I know there's a couple other ones I'm going to have to buy as well, but listen to me. I have to buy them. Yeah, but yes, the wall keeps growing, and after I get past 18 more, I don't know what I'm going to do. Next question is from Bandit Keith. With Kanye West's new album being called TurboGrafx 16, will the prices for the system skyrocket? I don't know. It's possible. I kind of looked up TurboGrafx prices now because I had no idea what they were going for. I don't even remember what I paid for mine. I remember what I paid for my Turbo Duo. It was $400, but the TurboGrafx itself, I don't even remember where I got that. I think I actually had a couple of them. I know my wife found one at Goodwill for 99 cents at one point. Actually, I might still have that one. And it works. Just didn't have any cables or anything. Will they skyrocket? I really don't know. It's possible that they might skyrocket temporarily and then go back down to normal after people get it out of their systems. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with Michael Jackson's Moonwalker when Michael Jackson died. Prices went up really high for a little while, and then they went back down. But what's funny is Kanye West. I don't know anything about him other than how much people say what a douchebag he is. If you were to ask me to say, hey, what's the song that Kanye West had? I couldn't tell you. I don't think I've ever heard any music from him. Apparently he's some sort of musical genius, but if he's such a genius, how come I've never heard anything from him? It's possible that I have heard something from him and didn't realize it, but as far as I know, I don't know anything that Kanye West has done. So I don't know why people like him so much. I mean, honestly, I'm 38, so it may just be out of my my realm. You know, the thing. You know, there's plenty of music out there. Like when Weird Al came out with his new album, I think it was last year. Every song on there that was a parody, I'd never heard the original. That was the first time that's ever happened to me. Where every song that Weird Al did a parody of, I'd not heard the original. So I had to watch the parody and then go back and watch the original. And now to this day, when I hear the original song, like Happy, I go, oh, that's tacky. The song Royal, I'm like, oh, that's Foil. That's Weird Al's song. To me, that's Weird Al's song. To me, I hear the original song, and I'm like, oh, Weird Al really improved those lyrics. Anyway, that is the end to that. Wow, this one probably wound up, 51 minutes. Holy crap. Yeah, this wound up being long, but whatever. And then, like, this tomorrow morning, another Let's Play Theater 1000 will post up, but I bet you this gets more hits than that. Anyway, thanks for watching. See y'all next time.